think, all right, now we're back with Miss Alexandria Yang, 10-year banking industry expert, manager of 2 different credit unions. And I just want to ask you about the misuse of credit. This is something we've kind of touched on lightly, a couple of examples right now, and kind of things that we want people to avoid. But I think the point needs to be hammered home when it comes to the kind of destructive power in your financial life that the misuse of credit can have. Can you speak to some examples of that and some of the consequences you've seen so that, the students can learn to avoid those things and not make those decisions?
I have many. I've experienced, especially with the pandemic going on. You have, of course, COVID. You got different things going on. People unemployed. I had a few people that was receiving weekly unemployment, but they couldn't pay their loans, or not per se, not pay. They refused to pay their loans, and then they get kind of upset with me when I'll bring up where you are. I get it. You're unemployed, but you're receiving unemployment every week. But you're telling me you can't pay your loan, your car note. So how you can't pay your car note, but you're receiving the funds every week, and this is more than what your regular 2-week paycheck is. And then you get upset with me when I'm not as understanding. And I was like, from my perspective as a manager and as the branch manager, and me, trying to upset a irate customer in the situation and just looking over numbers, you do have the funds to pay your loan. That's it. You have the funds to pay it. You choose not to pay it, and you want me to feel sorry for you. Why?
Mm.
I I understand it's a pandemic. I understand you're unemployed, but you're receiving money that you didn't receive otherwise, and you're not saving it. You have a lot of cash app coming through, whether it's going for food, I understand everybody got to get certain things. I understand you got to eat, but spending $60 at Popeyes, spending $50 at the food truck, and then coming in here telling me you can't pay your $400 car note. It's real interesting to me to say what you're getting for unemployment every week compared to what that weekly, what that biweekly paycheck was a few months ago. I
Mm.
can see everything. And when I sit here and be like, let's go back through your account history, and you didn't have a problem then when you were getting paid less to pay your car note. Now you're receiving more money. Granted, you're spending it, but you don't want to pay your note and you want me to feel bad for you. Why? No, not at all. And I'm the nicer version of compared to when you go into my collections office and they're dealing with you, and then it's time to repo a vehicle. And now you're sitting here without your vehicle and you're very upset because now you got a repo on your credit when you had the funds to pay, but you chose not to, and you're saying we're not working with you when it's not per se we're not working with you. You're not doing what you're supposed to do to benefit yourself.
Mm. That's a perfect example of the misuse of credit and the compounding um, negative results. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like you said, we understand it's a pandemic, but at the same time, that money is coming to you to help you pay your reoccurring actual bills. It's in
right,
place of your paycheck to help you stay, doing what you were
right,
doing if you were working. It's not like extra. It's not to go,
right,
misuse. And I think one of the things of the misuse of credit is, or even just the lack of understanding of how credit is reported. Sometimes people think,
right,
oh, I'm just going to miss this payment because I don't feel like paying for it, and because they don't understand the credit bureaus, they don't understand credit reports, they don't understand credit scores, they don't understand the lack of future ability that your current behavior is causing. Like you said, you missed your car note, now it has to go to collections, now it's in collections, now you have to get your car repossessed, but you still owe for the car after they sell the car. You know what I mean? It's decreased in value. So your loan, because you might have had bad credit in the first place, had a larger interest rate than it would have ever had. So your loan
right,
amount is now larger than your vehicle
right,
worth now. So now we sell your vehicle, but now sitting on your credit is
yeah,
the remaining balance of debt for that
right,
vehicle, but you have no vehicle. So you're in a worse situation you would have been in if you'd just paid your $400.
yep,
And so now, how are you going to get out of this? How, with no vehicle, are you going to earn the money to pay back the rest of the balance on the vehicle? And then when you go to get a new vehicle, they're going to see that you had a repossession on your last
yep,
vehicle. So this is how the misuse of credit can really compound your situations very quickly in a way that you may or may not be aware of. And that's why it's really important to, use it in a productive way. And I think it's important for people to have the financial education to be deliberate. You know,
right, right, right.
I just think it's I'm sorry. This issue just kind of, hits me because I remember not knowing some of these things all the way like until adulthood. It's kind of what sparked my interest in sharing and helping with other people. I think that the way that the credit system is works very well because it's supposed to incentivize you. But just like kind of criminal penalties when you go to jail, if you don't know the punishment for the crime, it doesn't incentivize you not to commit the act. So I think sometimes people might, when they're younger, get put out of an apartment or, not pay a medical bill or have a car repossessed or something like that and not understand that this is not only hurting you now, it's going to hurt you when you're 30 something and you want to buy a house. It's going to hurt you when
Yep.
you go to apply for your next apartment, but you're not going to find that out till you go to apply for the next apartment, till you go to get that new car loan. And so it just brings a very high awareness to, the importance of this. And thank you for that example because it gave the layers of what's involved when you make those kind of decisions. Thank you.